Everyone in the village called her Quartz. Some said the name came from the color of her eyes, pale, almost clear, like stone polished by time. Others joked it was short for quarter, because she was always giving parts of herself away, piece by piece. Whatever the truth, it stuck. Quartz had no mother, no father, no home of her own. She'd grown up in corners of homes, corners of hearts, corners of conversations. No one raised her, yet everyone did. The villagers handed her bowls of soup, old clothes, leftover shoes, smiles with just a flicker of guilt behind them. She was soft-spoken, small-boned and kind, in a way that made people uncomfortable. She never said no, never asked for anything. If you needed help, she was already there. If she had one piece of bread, you'd have half. Kindness like that doesn't last. Or worse, it does. The older she got, the more the village changed around her. Doors closed a little faster. Adults looked through her instead of at her. Children ran ahead when she walked their way. Still, she smiled. Still, she gave. But deep inside, something was changing. A pressure behind her eyes. Dreams that didn't belong to her. Images of endless woods. Voices calling her by names she didn't know. The elder who watched her grow said she was touched, marked. Each generation, a girl is chosen, they whispered. She walks. She gives. We thrive. Others weren't so sure. A hunched widow spoke of the last chosen girl, decades ago, who never returned. A reclusive herbalist muttered of bindings, promises, and the price of mercy. On the night before the festival, the sky was heavy with stars, too many for a late summer evening. Quartz sat alone by the old well, humming to herself. The elder approached her, placing a parcel in her lap. A dress, soft and fine, the color of snow beneath moonlight. It shimmered when she touched it. You wear this at dawn, the elder said, and walk. Quartz didn't ask where. She woke before the sun, slipped on the dress, tucked a crust of bread into a napkin, left without saying goodbye. The trees beyond the village stood still and waiting. She stepped into the woods as the sky bruised pink and gold. She knew the path, though she couldn't say how. It wound through trees older than time, where moss grew thick and the air smelled sweet, almost narcotic. Birds did not sing. Wind did not stir. The first person she met was an old man seated beside a crooked birch, his hands trembling violently. Bread, he rasped. She gave him hers. He took it without a thank you. His eyes were too pale. She walked further. Something pulsed beneath the moss, like breath. She pressed her hand to the ground and felt warmth radiating upward, steady as a heartbeat. It made her dizzy. The second was a barefoot child, no older than 7, weeping beside a broken stump. Quartz removed her scarf and wrapped it around the girl. The child smiled, not sweetly, sharply. Her teeth were too white. Her eyes didn't blink. As Quartz walked away, she could feel the child's eyes on her back, like a cold wind brushing against her skin. She didn't look back. The third, a woman coughing blood into her sleeve. She hunched over a mound of withered flowers. Quartz gave her the wool coat she wore. The woman's fingers lingered too long on her arm, her skin clammy and wrong. Her eyes were too knowing, like she was watching something play out that had already happened. You won't be cold much longer, the woman rasped. The fourth was a limping man with a twisted foot. His clothes were stitched with bones, not thread. Without speaking, Quartz unbuckled her shoes and handed them to him. He said nothing, just nodded, like he had been expecting her. The nod was slow, deliberate, ceremonial. The woods grew darker. Though it was still morning, the light faded like dusk. She reached the clearing near what should have been dusk, but felt timeless. Silver grass swayed without wind. A pale woman leaned against a dead tree, shivering. Her body was thin as a kindling, but her eyes burned with something wild. Quartz slipped off her dress and offered it. "Thank you," the woman whispered, her voice like breaking glass. Then she was gone, melted into the air like fog. Quartz stood naked in the clearing. Then the stars began to fall. One by one, they descended like snowflakes. Where they touched earth, coins appeared, gold, warm to the touch. They shimmered with an inner light. Quartz gasped. She danced among them, laughing. A new dress appeared, woven of silver thread. It wrapped around her like silk, weightless and perfect. The coins gathered at her feet, forming patterns, spirals, circles, runes. She stopped. The clearing was too quiet, the air too still. The sky no longer moved. And then they came. The old man, the child, the woman, the limping man, the pale figure. They stood around her, watching. Their eyes glowed faintly. Each of them bore the face of someone she had once helped, but not really. Their faces rippled, changed, familiar, but wrong. Not villagers, not even human. Their skin seemed to pulse like wax near a flame, limbs bent the wrong way. Eyes blinked in rows, mouths opened too wide. She recognized them from the chapel wall carvings. The ones who vanished. The good ones. The kind ones. A voice, deep and cold, rumbled beneath the earth. She gives, therefore she binds. Quartz tried to scream, but her voice was gone. Her new dress tightened, threads digging into her skin. Gold coins crawled across the clearing like beetles, skittering into her shadow, forming chains. She looked down. One bore her face. Its eyes opened. Back in the village, weeks passed. The stars stopped falling. Crops bloomed too early. A strange peace settled over everything. The people stopped talking about Quartz. They told themselves she was safe, that she'd gone to a better place, until a boy found a coin near the chapel. It was warm. He turned it over. Quartz stared back at him, eyes open. He brought it to the blacksmith. "Can you melt this?" he asked. The blacksmith frowned but nodded. He placed it in the forge and turned away. The coin screamed, not metal, not fire. It was a human sound, ragged, raw, unmistakable. The forge turned cold. Shadows bled from the walls. The coin did not melt. It only reformed sharper now. This time, Quartz's face was smiling. The boy screamed too. He ran, leaving the coin behind, but its scream echoed in his dreams. For weeks after, he woke with soot on his hands and ash in his mouth. The blacksmith tried again. The coin shattered into 7 jagged pieces. One lodged in his eye. He clawed at it, but it vanished beneath the lid. He hasn't spoken since. When he does open his mouth, smoke escapes. After that, things began to unravel. Animals fled the woods. Mirrors fogged on clear days. The stars moved at odd hours. Children were born with coin-shaped birthmarks. People dreamed of a girl walking through fields of fire, whispering, "I gave, now I take." The elder wept silently. We broke the seal. Villagers whispered stories in hushed voices. About a girl who gave everything and took more. About kindness used like rope. About the wrong kind of gods. A group formed, small at first. They met in the chapel basement, lit candles of melted coin wax, chanted old names, left silver offerings. They called themselves the Givers. They said Quartz was not a curse, but a promise. They wanted her back. The well where she once sat ran dry. No matter how much water was poured in, it never filled. People claimed to hear breathing at the bottom, labored, rattling, like something waiting just beneath. The elder threw in a bucket, hoping to hear it splash. It never hit bottom. One night, under a blood-hued moon, a drunk stumbled by the well and tossed a coin down with a careless wish. The wind stopped. The trees went still. Then something laughed, soft, wet, and wrong. The next morning, a baby was missing. The crib was filled with wet moss and teeth that didn't belong to a child. The family moved without a word. The house stood empty for years, though candles burned behind the windows on nights when the stars pulsed red. Years later, a new child was born. Her name was Elsie, sweet, quiet, given, too given. She offered her toys to shadows and left milk at the doorstep each night for the ones under the dirt. The village watched her carefully. They remembered. The stars no longer waited for signs or seasons. They fell early, raining silver across the fields, igniting small fires that left behind no ash, only circles of scorched earth and symbols no one dared decipher. Coins appeared in the crib, not stacked, but placed carefully around her, head side up, all bearing Quartz's face. The child opened her eyes, pale and polished like stone, and Quartz smiled through them. Not kindly, not anymore. Some things you cannot ungive. Thank you for joining us in the world of Twilight Fables. If you enjoyed this tale and want to hear more stories like this, please subscribe and hit the notification bell for more.